I was watching this interview the other day. It was another dating channel, and then this guy was interviewing someone on there, and he was talking about a tier list that he made about who he thinks are the best, I guess, dating coaches in the industry. And one of those people that he had put on that list was a guy that I was also familiar with. And when I was listening to this fellow speak about this person, I noticed that the sort of how he was speaking, his cadence, his tone, the words he was using, there was some similarities between him and this guy that he was saying that he basically looked up to, which got me thinking about my experience with skateboarding and how I dedicated over 13 years of my life to that pursuit of becoming a professional skateboarder, and how I myself at that time was watching skateboard videos. I was looking up to different professional skateboarders, and I would also model and mimic their trick selection. I would mimic their style, even their fashion, how they move their bodies, how they would land their tricks. And I would try to land their tricks maybe as smooth as they landed it. And basically, funny how this guy also was essentially doing the same thing as I myself was doing, or that many people do in various fields, especially in athletics, but in all fields. People are learning from the people that came before them. And then I thought how funny and interesting that is, that you can then do the same thing when it comes to socializing, but it's actually quite normal. People look up to their fathers, people look up to their mothers, people look up to their brothers, and they will model and mimic the mentors and figures in their lives as well. Like a father figure, for example. Or like myself, I looked up to my older brother, and I would actually take on similar behaviors and ways of speaking as my older brother at that time, because I looked up to him, and I would take on similar characteristics from him and probably various other people in my life that I looked up to. But so it's a natural thing that people do. But then if you're conscious of that and you're proactive in doing that, that is a way to learn a skill. You can see this in various areas in life, whether it's in rapping. I actually heard that Kanye West would mimic Dr. Dre's beats as he was coming up and learning that skill set. So then you might see similarities between various rappers and the people that they looked up to that came before them. In sports, someone like, say, a Mike Tyson, he learned the peekaboo style of boxing. So now you have this style of boxing that came before him that he started learning. He also looked up to various boxers that came before him. He was looking at the greats. He was analyzing footage. He was probably taking different styles and techniques of those legendary boxers that came before him and implementing those techniques in his game. A Michael Jordan had people that he looked up to as well, that I'm sure that he would model as well when he was coming up to learn the skills that he learned. So why not something like dating and socializing? You can do the same thing. You can apply those same kinds of training methods in this field as well. So what does that mean? You might look up different coaches online. You might look at different infield footage, as they say. And that's why these dating coaches will sell footage of them going out into the field and then explaining and breaking down what it is that they are doing, their thought processes, how they go about thinking about things, their strategy in field when they're talking with women. Social skills is also a skill, and you can verify that in fields such as negotiations, business, marketing, how to communicate to others, learning about psychology, human nature, what people respond to, and then learning how to communicate better when you're talking to people, to convey your value, to frame your product or service in a way where somebody can then see the value in what you're selling or in what you're trying to communicate to someone. So there's a real skill set here. And as well, when you're learning this skill set, it's not just about studying, because that's the thing, is people probably, it's easy to go and study something because then you don't have to put yourself out there and actually experience failure, experience those negative emotions of embarrassment, falling down. Falling down is a necessary part of, say, snowboarding or skateboarding or different athletic endeavors. Losing is a part of the sport. Just the same as rejection is a part of game. But people would love it if you could just learn the perfect line and never have to fail. Well, that's wishful thinking. That's not reality. You can't go out there and do anything and expect not to fall down or to fall short or to fail. That is a part of the learning process. You need to fall down. You need to fail. And in socializing, you need to feel embarrassed. You need to get rejected. That is a part of this game. And it's a never-ending part of the game. Just like at the highest levels in athletics, you're always going to lose. You're always going to fall short. But the more that you practice, the better your training regimen, how much effort and energy you put in outside of the game, that's going to help you to succeed more when you're out in the field. Ultimately, you got to get out there and get your own experience. Then be willing to analyze your interactions. What did I do well? What could I do better? Go out there and experiment. In this, it's about how you communicate, your tone of voice, your expression, your body language. It's also about the inner game. How do you speak to yourself? Being good with yourself, loving yourself. Having self-esteem, esteeming yourself, giving yourself recognition, giving yourself validation, not looking for validation outside of yourself, not looking to fill some void within you through sex or some external stimulus. So then when you go out, you start to value the actions that you take. Your criteria for success isn't, did I sleep with a girl tonight? Did I sleep with 100 women? Did I sleep with 1,000 women? That's not my criteria for success. My criteria for success is, how well was I able to get out of my head and be uninhibited and freely expressing myself, being unstifled, going and making the attempt. Did I talk to the girls that actually excited me, that I thought were attractive to me? Was I able to have fun? Was I able to let go? That would be my criteria for success. Did I try to close? Did I try to bring things to its full conclusion? Did I go for a number? Did I go for an Insta date? Did I make my intentions known? That would be my criteria for success. Things that are within my control, not things outside of my control. Whether a girl sleeps with me or not is outside of my control. But did I leave the house? Was I consistently going out during the week? If I said to myself, I'm going to go out 3 times a week this week, and then did I follow through with that? That would be my criteria for success. How many hours am I going to put in when I go out? Am I going to show up to bars? And am I going to go to clubs? Am I going to have fun within those environments? That would be my criteria for success. Am I trying to bring things to its full conclusion? As I said, when you're setting up your criteria for success, you focus on things that are within your control, and then you are more likely to then get the results that you're looking for. But you're focusing on things that you can affect, your actions. By doing so, another thing would be consistency. Am I being consistent in my actions? Am I setting my life up in a way where I can be, where I can sustain my actions for the long term? The reason why I say this is like an athletic pursuit, because it takes you having to commit yourself for years of your life. It's a social skill set. Every single day is a new day. Success must be earned and re-earned on a daily basis, just like in athletics, just like in a educational pursuit. You don't just read one book and now you've mastered a certain subject. You need to constantly be reading. You need to constantly be challenging yourself on a daily basis. This is no different. You may have shown up yesterday to the bar, to the club. You may have done a bunch of approaches that day. Maybe you acquired some phone numbers. You push through the discomfort of fear, of anxiety that you may have been feeling, and you pushed through that, and you made a bunch of approaches. You were able to become uninhibited and free-flowing. You were able to have fun in the environment and take a massive amount of action. But just because you did it that one time doesn't mean now that you're able to do it every other time. No, it means you have to get out there again and do it all over again. Those fears, those inhibitions, they are always going to be there. Just like when you go to the gym, you don't just show up once and now you're a strong man for the rest of your life. It's no different. You still have to be eating the right foods every day, or else you're going to get fat. You still have to be getting in the gym consistently, or else your muscles are going to atrophy. Well, this is a mental game. This is an emotional game. So if you're not constantly subjecting yourself to something like social pressure, or putting yourself in environments where you feel judged, where you're feeling that social pressure, if you're not subjecting yourself to that on a regular basis, constantly desensitizing yourself to the different challenges and fears and anxieties that are involved in this pursuit, then your mentality and your emotional muscle will atrophy. So it's no different than anything else. When you stop doing it, you become weak in this area, or like in any other area. That's what people don't possibly understand. Which is why to reach the highest levels in anything, you must be consistent. You must be constantly practicing, training. What does that look like when it comes to socializing and meeting women? When you see women that you find attractive, that you would be meaningful for you to go and approach, you go and talk to them. That means that you're out in bars, you're out in clubs, you're out in social environments. And under any circumstance, ideally, you go and make the approach. Whether it's a girl sitting with 5 of her friends in a coffee shop or in a restaurant. And yeah, that's going to be scary emotionally and mentally. But you go up and you do it anyways. You subject yourself to that social pressure. You learn to become emotionally resilient. That means, yes, people are going to criticize you and scrutinize you. And maybe not have the highest of opinion of you. But then you learn to value your own opinion. You learn to value your own validation. You give yourself recognition. You learn to be your own best friend. You learn to be one with yourself. You learn to believe in yourself through action, but also maybe through positive affirmations, through meditation, through working out the different negative conditionings and beliefs that you might have of yourself. And you start affirming new beliefs to yourself. And then you also go out there and you take action in the face of self-doubt, in the face of maybe negative beliefs and self-talk that you may have. And then over time, you start to internalize new beliefs. That's what's so great about this game. Is you learn to be more confident. You learn to have higher self-esteem. And this is a skill set, which means you got to be constantly taking action. Then you learn from others. You learn from me, like watching this video, me sharing the experience that I get by going out and taking action, through the decades worth of experience I have in this, through the 13 years of, or more of experience I had in the athletic pursuits that I had, through all the reading and educational experience I have. And then I share that with you, and then you can take on and understand different mentalities and ways to approach this game and ways to frame this type of pursuit. Learn from everyone, reading books, being proactive in what you're feeding your mind. These are all ways that you can develop yourself in this area. Right? So this is how you're going to develop a skill set in this area. It's like anything else. Realize that. Realize that this is no different than any other pursuit. You don't just make one approach a day or one approach every now and again and think, oh, that's how I'm going to develop my skills in this area. No, it takes hard work. The more you're dedicated, the more time you put into this, the better you're going to get at it. The more effort you put in, the better you're going to get at something. This is no different. To reach a high-level skill, a high-level social skill, you got to be socializing all the time. Having proper training methods, having proper strategies. Right? Just the same like in athletics. If you have better training methods, better training regimens, sometimes that's what separates the winners from the losers. So who are you listening to? What kinds of actions are you taking? What are you doing outside a game? Are you focusing on your finances? Are you focusing on your body, perhaps? On your nutrition? You can treat this like a professional athlete. Why not? Are you going out and drinking and compensating for your lack of confidence in the field? Or are you going out and embracing that discomfort and saying, no, I'm going to cultivate core confidence by not using alcohol to numb myself from the discomfort of going out in social interactions, but instead saying, no, I'm going to go out there and I'm willing to fail. I'm willing to feel stupid. I'm willing to feel embarrassed. By slowly desensitizing yourself to those emotions, then it gets easier and you're then able to more free flow, have fun, be silly, generating positive emotions from within, generating fun from within, not looking to the environment, not looking to some girl to make you feel good about yourself. You learn to make yourself feel good about yourself. You learn to handle your own emotional well-being. Figuring out what brings you joy, what brings you happiness. Reading high-level literature, feeding yourself positive reinforcement through different books, videos, self-development content, possibly like this video. And just like in an athletic pursuit, they have coaches. These are more ways that you can develop your skills in this area too. Get coaches. Get on a 30-minute free strategy call with me at datingdestruction@gmail.com. Email me, let me know, and we'll get you on a free call where I can break down the different challenges you're having. I can give you different strategies and ways to get over the different sticking points and challenges that you might be having. You can also go and with me in field where I demonstrate for you what it looks like to go and approach, what it looks like to get phone numbers, what it looks like to lead things through a process all the way to a romantic relationship. And again, you can hit me up at datingdestruction@gmail.com, or you can get coaches with many other people that offer coaching out there. Maybe you don't necessarily resonate with me. That's fine. There's many different choices and coaches to get coaching with. Why would it be any different than if you were in boxing or jiu-jitsu or any other endeavor? People have mentors, people get coaching. This is how you develop skills in a certain area. What other ways could you make those 1% improvements on a daily basis? Record yourself when you're going out and analyze your recordings, and then keep thinking about how you could do better, what you could have said differently, what did you do well. Analyze your footage, get somebody to film you, get some external feedback, because sometimes we don't understand or see what we're doing because we're in it. So getting an outside perspective, just like somebody that's training someone in the gym or whatever it may be, they can let you know where your technique is off and correct the technique. There's technique involved with socializing as well, just like anything else. So these are some other ways that you can develop yourself in this area too. Just like maybe in football, they got you running through tires. They got you doing squats. You're working out in the gym. You're doing all kinds of things, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do those particular things when you're in a game, but by isolating different areas and working on different techniques and attributes in your physical body, let's say, that's going to then help you perform in a game. Well, the same thing with socializing. What are some training methods that you can do that would help you maybe better perform when you're out in the field? Ultimately, you want to get good at something, you got to do the thing. So if you want to get good with women, talk to women. If you want to get good with speaking to beautiful women, go talk to beautiful women. If you want to get good at socializing, socialize with lots of people. It's no different. But then don't just start thinking that you're going to go to the gym or work on your diet and that you're going to neglect doing the thing, thinking that, oh, if I just get really big in the gym, then I'm going to have success in that area. Oh, if I just work on my diet, then I'll have success in that area. If I read a whole bunch of books, then I'll have success in that area. No, you still have to get out there and do the thing. You cannot avoid rejection. You can't avoid the negative emotions. You can't avoid falling down, so to speak. You are always going to fall down. You are always going to get rejected. This is a part of the game. And You must earn success on a daily basis. If I didn't already say that, every single day, success must be earned and re-earned. That is the truth. You don't just stay at the level you're at. If you stop taking action, you are going to get worse. You don't just stay at that level. The confidence is built through action. You can have confidence knowing that you're putting in the work. And only you will know. When nobody else is watching, what are you doing with your time? When nobody else is watching, what are you doing? Give yourself recognition. Are you taking action when no one else is around? When you're out in the supermarket and you see that girl that you are compelled and would like to talk to, do you go up and make the attempt? Or do you say, I'll do it again, I'll do it another day? Do you care more about your opinion, or do you care about the opinions of others? Do you care about more about your success, or do you care more about pleasing others? You got to work that out for yourself. Because if that's the case, you need to start caring more about your own opinion, and you need to start putting yourself first. You got to let go of social conditioning. You got to let go of worrying about what somebody else thinks and being popular, and do what you know is best for you. So I hope this video helps. Realize it's about taking massive action. Realize it's about doing the thing first and foremost, but that this is no different than anything else. It takes practice, takes you going out on a consistent basis and taking consistent action indefinitely. It never ends. It never ends. You must accept that. But that's kind of what's fun about it too, is that every day is a new day, and you must go out there and challenge yourself and push yourself on a daily basis. So if you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Like the video, leave a comment. What kind of experiences do you have out there in the field? What kinds of things are challenging for you? How do you view this pursuit? What is the lens in which you view things? Leave a comment. Let's get some discussion going. And until next time, peace out, my brothers.